Keeping busy. I am keeping busy. Let me see if I can see you a little bit closer because I haven't seen you in so long. Yeah, I know you. I do know you. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. I'm gonna scan around. I'm gonna scan around and see if I can get everybody in here.
Terry, come here.
There's Bo. Hey, Bo. Hey, Bo. Oh, you can't even hear. Just at least wave, all right? Okay, that's enough. That's enough. There we go. Got to get the handsome guy here, right? Okay, Charles. All right, we got you. We got you. We got you. Yeah, taking a shot at everybody. I got to get Robert and Ellis and Tommy and Bo. Hey, Robert. Hey, Robert. You got to look over this way at least, man. Hey, man, let's not. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, we're ready. Okay, here we go. God is, oh yes he is, so wonderful, yeah, yes, God is so wonderful, oh yes he is. God is so wonderful to me. He walks beside me night and day. He guided my footsteps that I might not stray. He cleansed my heart. I can truly say that God is so wonderful to me. God is, oh yes he is, ooh, yes he is, so wonderful to me, yes. My God, my God, my God is so wonderful, yes. He's so wonderful to me, yes. Oh, my God, my God, my God, my God, oh, yes, yes. My God is so wonderful to me, yes. So wonderful to me. Well, my God gives me strength when I'm weak. He gives me strength when I'm weak, yes. Oh, my God, so wonderful to me. And you know he picks me up. When I'm down, and you know he gives me love. Yes, he does. Oh, yeah. My God, so wonderful to me. So, yes, God is. God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. Yes, God is to me.
Everybody's cooking. Everybody's cooking inside.
In the morning, weighing 6 pounds and 6 inches tall with very strong lungs. I am an 80-year-old Black African American brought into this world by a midwife. Born in a little town, Nosmond County, Suffolk, Virginia, to my mother, Lucy Bell Clemens Douglas, an Indian princess of the Blackfoot Nation, her father being an Indian chief of that tribe. My father, Frederick C. Douglass, the grandson of Frederick Douglass, statesman and patriot.
And you?
Hey, Mom, what do you think of the song? Oh, okay, good. Andrea, it was good, right? Molly, what do you think? Molly, you like that? Better than pacifier? Huh? Okay.
Remember, she reminded me of Jerry when Jerry was like 15 years young.
Oh, where's Shalimar? Oh, there he is. My man. Right here. There's Shalimar, my man. All right.
That was good, huh?
There's my baby right there.
Say what? What you doing? You getting ready to leave, aren't you?
When I was ill, my first 2 years of life, so ill that my mother had to carry me around on a pillow most of the time because I could not lay in the homemade crib that my dad had made. I hurt and ached so bad. I seemed to get every illness that came around. The other children never seemed to get sick. Mother thought she was going to lose me several times during my illness. I did not walk until I was 3 years old. But strangely enough, one day, according to my mom, dad, and other siblings, earlier, my parents had taken my sister to town and bought her a brand new outfit, a new dress, parasol, purse, and shoes to wear to a program she was going to be in. When I saw those beautiful clothes, I said, Mama, if you get me a dress, parasol, purse, and shoes like sisters, I'll walk. My mother was shocked. I had never said anything like that before. She ran into the other room to tell Dad what I had said. He also was shocked and came in to me and told me to repeat to him what I had said. So I did. He discussed it with Mom and said, if this is what she said, we don't have too much money, but it's worth a try. Let's do it. She has been sitting on the floor for too long. He picked me up, Mom dressed me, and they took me to town. I looked at a lot of clothes that day, but would not accept anything that did not look exactly like my sister's. The Lord was with us that day. All the things in the store were marked down half price, and that was all Mom had to pay. When we got home, Mom set me on the floor. I cried, no, Mama, I want to put on my new clothes. So Dad said, all right, Mary, get up and walk to me. I got up and with an effort to Dad, almost falling, but laid it to him. Mom put my dress on me and I never sat on the floor again. We moved to Farrell, Pennsylvania when I was 2 years old. When I was 7 years old, in the second grade, my father had built us another home, a 2-story building with a bake shop downstairs that Mom ran and the living quarters upstairs, all except the kitchen was downstairs. It was on a Saturday and all the children were outside playing, but me when Mother sent me upstairs to get something for her. When I started downstairs, I tripped and fell from top to bottom. When I came to, I was cross-eyed and had to wear a horrible pair of thick horn rim, ugly glasses. And because kids at school call me all kinds of horrible names like frog eyes, buck eyes, 4 eyes, and you look like a frog peeping from glass, I refused to wear those ugly glasses to school. My mother did not know it, but when I got out of the house, I took them off and put them in my lunch pail. Because of that, I did not do too well in the 2nd and 3rd grade, but I managed to get through them by the skin of my teeth. Those nasty remarks changed me from a nice, well-mannered child to a mean, tempered person with a temper completely out of control. I wanted to lash out at everyone. I hated those horn-rimmed glasses. When I was 14 years old during the Depression of 1929, I remember the sugar rationing, the buggy flour and meal, the ugly cotton stockings and hand-me-down clothes. Terrible conditions with people not being able to find work. It was horrible. My parents were very proud people and always encouraged us to take pride in ourselves in action and words. No filthy language, carrying ourselves well, no fighting amongst ourselves, be kind and don't force ourselves on anyone. Don't ever start a fight, but if you should get in one, fight back, and every lick you get, try to hit back a little harder. Then shake hands and say, oh well, you won. There will be another time, and you may not have as much luck then. Never turn your back and run. In 1932, we moved to New York by request of my uncle, who felt as if my dad could get work there. I was 17. My sister had finished high school, and my Aunt Hattie persuaded my mom and dad to let her stay with her. My aunt was a teacher of English in the Faro school system. Her husband was a medical doctor, the only black doctor that I knew at that time in Faro. My sister stayed with my aunt for a year and then came to New York. My uncle made his living as a tenor singer, performing in the Opera House in New York, and did very well. We stayed at his house until my father got a job at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. He took a job as a superintendent at an apartment building in Harlem. My father was a very shrewd man. He took every opportunity he could to better our family. We moved into this apartment rent-free and all utilities paid. We still did not have too much money, so my mother, against my father's wishes, got a job cooking for a Jewish lady. She was making $30 a month for cooking. My other brother had worked side by side with my dad in the steel mills in Faro and caught on pretty quickly what he had to do at the apartment building. So one day of teaching my brother what to do, he announced casually that he had accepted a job as a butler with the same family as my mom was working. Now he was making $30 a month, a whole lot of money in those days when you could buy a quart of milk, a loaf of bread for 10 cents each, and a pair of stockings for 25 cents, a 4-room apartment for less than $100. My sister had now come home, so I started thinking about getting a job so I can continue my education. The school system was very costly in New York, but different from Pennsylvania. In New York, you paid highly for books and other school material. In Faro, all those things were free. My mom said, Fred, it may not be too hard. I will speak to Mrs. Begler, her boss, and maybe she would know someone that could give Mary something that's not too much to do. She spoke to her boss and gave me a job as mother's helper of a 6-year-old first-grade child, Cynthia. We got along very well for the first 6 months. Of all the jobs that I have had, that last month's work with Mrs. Finkelstein was hardest. I got along with Cynthia and Mr. Finkelstein, but not with her. I barely made it through. I believe she wanted to fire me, but I never gave her the chance. I found out later that she had had many girls in to help her, but they would never stay. Well, I have been looking for a job and found one before my month was over. I found a job as a cook, believe it or not. I know very little about Jewish cooking, so I told the lady that I was finishing up with a job and would not be able to take it until the first of the month. She agreed. I did not ask Mrs. Finkelstein for a reference. I asked Mr. Finkelstein for one because he could see what was going on. He said, Mary, I expected this. You are not as happy here as you used to be. Yes, I will give you the best reference you will ever need, you deserve. And he did give me a high recommendation. That job inspired me to write my first poem, It's the Maid's Day Off, written in 1939. And that ends the autobiography of Mary Douglas Johnson.
Everybody's cooking. Everybody's cooking inside.
Except for me.
No, well, you're just chilling, right? I heard that. I heard that.
Baby. She's eating like a baby.
One more. All right.
There is a song, yes, that I want of you, all of you, yeah, to hear. Well, take me nearer to my God, yeah, nearer, my God, yes, nearer. My Even though it be my God's cross, even though it be his cross, even though it be his cross, yes, that ray, that raises me, but still all my song should be, take me near my God, whoa, yes, nearer to my God, take me nearer, well, nearer to thee. Nearer, my God, to thee. Well, take me nearer, my God, yes, to thee. Nearer, nearer, my God, yes, nearer, nearer to thee. Well, my God knows I'm just his lowly wanderer, I'm just his lowly wanderer, yes. Well, his son, well, my God, his son is gone down. But darkness shall be over me, darkness shall be over me, yes, darkness will be over me. My rest a stone, but yet in my dreams, yet in my dreams I will be. Won't take me near to God, my God, my God, my God, yeah, yeah, yeah. My God, to thee.
All right. All right now, this is
Right. Not bad, not bad.
do it. Beautiful.